softly like the sweet summer rain that pours from the heavens in Japanese Tsuyu. It's DIA, or Dudes in Asia. What up, Dude Maniacs? As always, this is David Hayter.
And this is David Wayne, a.k.a. Noodzilla, King of the Monsters.
On episode 37 of Dudes in Asia, we have another interview with a Korean-American expat living and working in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, lined up for you.
Nice, yeah. Charles Lee is actually one of the first people I met in Ho Chi Minh City. He's a really cool cat, and looking forward to hearing his interview.
Right on, man. So, how are things on your end, Doug? Anything new with you?
I'm pretty good with my workouts. Dude, like, I'm stuck. I'm hovering between, like 198 and, like, 202. Just, like, depends if I take a piss or not. It's like that little gray zone where it's like you're just like fluctuating rapidly, but it's still the same like zone.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man.
Yeah, so I'm stuck in that zone right now.
See, right now I hover between 250 and 235. No. I'm joking, man.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a little disconcerting because like I've never put in so much effort like what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And to see these results is like, I got a long mountain to climb to drop like another 25. You know.
That's true, man. It's the long road, man.
It's a long road, but I got to get that in my head. I think it's like that. You know, like setting expectations is killer. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I'm like,
I don't know, it's like people say if it's not getting worse, then that's good. You know, at least you're maintaining. You know, if it's moving in the right direction, that's progress, you know?
Yeah. No, like VC said something that was like pretty eye-opening for me. He's like, you know, maybe it's not the results physically that you should be paying attention to, it's the result of you actually taking action every day. Because that's a result in itself, and you should be proud of that. I'm like, that's a good way to look at it, because like I am disciplined enough to like train every day. You know, granted, the physical isn't there. Like, look at the results that you put your mind to. So, okay, that's definitely a positive spin. You know.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So exercise, taking care of Grace, and work. Work has been good, man. And then I've been also doing like Muay Thai and boxing on the side. Still, I'm still loving it. And then that's it, man. How's about you, bro?
Yeah, things are cool. You know, I think as of, what was it, the 10th? Which is today we're recording this. I'll only be teaching in school for one more month, you know? Like one more month of classes. And then like the last 2 days are like cleaning up and moving out of my apartment, you know? And then, something else too, man. My girlfriend Anna started YouTubing now. She like uploaded her first video.
Like vlogging or what?
Yeah, she's gonna be vlogging and whatnot on YouTube.
Oh, nice! Congrats.
Yeah. Thanks, man. It'll be pretty interesting though, because she's gonna do it in Spanish. You know.
Oh, nice! Exactly. That's a niche market right there, man.
Yeah. So it'll be, and then it's funny because the name of the channel. Be sure to check it out. It's La China Mexicana, or for those of you who speak the the English, it's La China Mexicana. But you know, she's like part Chinese, born in Mexico, like grew up in America, now has been teaching in Japan for 4 years, you know, so
she's all over the map.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting channel. I'll probably come on it every once in a while and hablo mi español.
Oh shit, dude, that sounds like an awesome channel, man.
Yeah.
And how long for content?
You know, she recorded one video. You know, we've been talking about starting for a while. It was like a minute and like 36 seconds. It's not very long at all.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now the goal is maybe like one a week, you know what I mean?
Good start. Just like us, right? Just like
pretty
us.
Much.
Episode 37, man.
Yeah, consistency, you know what I mean?
Yeah, consistency is right.
But yeah, so that's something to look out for. I've still been on the exercise. I think I dropped the afternoon workouts just because I've been doing stuff every day after work, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I could make a bunch of noise in my house, maybe. But I'll piss off my neighbors, man.
So it's still the morning workout for you, right?
Yeah, I got to get that one in the morning, man.
And what time is that?
You usually get up 5:45. That's a good time for me. Yeah. But I don't know. Other than that, man, like I've been cleaning up the house. Like I threw a bunch of stuff away this weekend, it's like, it's kind of tough because like some things you want to give away, right? Like to other people out here, but then I'm like, that's more work for me, to like take pictures of stuff and send it out and then wait to see if people are wanting it or not. I'm like, no, I'm just going to junk it.
And do what's best for you at the given moment, right?
I don't want to get too much into it, but it's like I've done some things for people and I get nothing in return, you know what I mean? So I'm like, fuck it. Looking out for me. I'm tired of trying to be nice to fools, man. I'll be civil. I ain't going out of my way to help you. Yeah, it's like, if you ask for it, I'm there.
Yeah.
If you don't, stay the fuck out of my way.
Move, bitch. Get out the way.
Yeah. But yeah, things are cool, man. But I'll be busy again too, man. Like probably after done recording this, I might go to like this English conversation group. There's like a few people out there I wanted to say what's up to, and then like I got something planned like every night between now. And I got something planned like Sunday morning. Like Sunday night will be like my first like free time. But yeah, busy. But
when's your me time then, man?
What you talking about?
In the morning?
Yeah, workouts in the morning.
That's it. That's your only personal time.
Basically, man.
Lately, right?
Yeah, lately, like I get up in the morning, rock that out, come back, get ready for work, like just go. Like I catch like maybe a few. Like a couple of minutes here or there, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know. Usually it's not too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like usually my weekends aren't always like super packed.
Just because it's like a home stretch for you right now, so you're just gonna maximize.
Yeah, well, it's like it's like after you've been here, like I've been here for 5 years and I've worked at like 10 like different schools and know a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, you're leaving next month. I'm like, yeah. Like, okay, let's hang out before you go. It's like, all right. When can I pencil you in? How about next Saturday? No, I'm busy. Next Sunday. What time? It's like 7 p.m. Oh, that's no good. How about 5? Okay, I can do that. All right, see you then.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it'll be nice. Go take a few selfies, make it worth it. But. It was interesting too, because I'm trying to. I don't know if you've been listening to the show for a while. You know that I'm actually going to be heading out towards Vietnam in a few months.
Oh yeah, so we need an episode about moving here as well, right?
Yeah. But I've actually like been kind of looking at some stuff online, dude. Like, like looking at different like housing and stuff. Like I saw something in D7 that was like 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, like $400 a month,
$400 a month?
Yeah, with like a swimming pool on the property too,
Wow.
Yeah, but then part of me is like, is this like some bait and switch type of shit? Or like they show you like a BS ad on the website?
That's too cheap, bro. That's too cheap.
Yeah,
that's too cheap.
And then you show up and I'm like, oh yeah, so here's this one for $600. And it's like, hey, it said it was $400. I'm like, someone rented that one.
Yeah. I can scope it out for you before you head out this way. But
for sure.
That sounds way too cheap. Because Vietnam's property is actually increasing. So actually, heads up though, like there's a possibility based on a couple of things that might work out. Actually, it might be in Kentucky a little bit.
Oh, really? Right on, man.
Yeah, but like, I think Kentucky's a good time too, though.
It would be, man. It's like dirt cheap, right?
Yes, even more cheap.
I don't know, though, man. I think Anna might hurt me if we go to Kentucky, though.
True. I'm not so like that's true. Yeah, she knows the stuff already.
She wants some big city life, though. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe for a little while. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but I feel like that's kind of the thing too. Is like we'll have like a little bit of money saved up. Like we could kind of bounce around for a little while before we like decide on a place. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that's I think like she would want like all the conveniences of the big city, but she's like once she's like active, once she's actually doing things, like dealing with the traffic and stuff like that, I think she'll eventually like fuck this shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what we'll do, right? Is I'll talk. I'll head down to the Vinpearl and find out how much it'll cost to live there month by month. You probably
get a better deal.
You know what? Like
if you negotiate like that.
For what I pay and for rent and what she pays combined, we could live at the Vin Pearl. You know, like by looking at how much we spend on food and like the fact that we have to clean our own rooms, it would actually be cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a trip, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Vietnam, man. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
For sure, man. But yeah, something else I've been looking into too is like some remote work, man. You know, like stuff you can do online.
That's the future. That's the future way to go, is being able to be anywhere and like provide like a service. You know, either working online for somebody else or figuring it out. You know, locally. Like I was watching this podcast with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
This guy was talking about like the future of like being entrepreneurs. It's like, yeah, you just go somewhere. This is network. They kind of join. Like, hey, I'm in Vietnam. This is what I'm good at. So you try to sell your service. You know.
Yep. Yeah,
do a work for like a few hours or a day, and the next thing it's like, all right, I'm gonna chill here for a little bit.
Yep.
You know, and then you just find the next location.
Exactly. Yeah.
Future.
Yeah, well, like just looking with all the technology we have, like sometimes there's just no reason to have an office, you know?
Correct, absolutely correct.
In some ways,
yeah,
it could be like counterproductive, you know? Like if you just want to be like a streamlined company that just delivers what they say, like
yeah,
yeah.
Like looking at my company, like at Ningbo right now, even some of the people could just seriously just work from home, and they'll actually probably make them a little bit happier as well. You know? But it's like if you need to be at the office because we're actually doing activities or stuff like that, like yeah, sure, you know. But like if you're just gonna work, like dude, just work from home. Like as long as you're gonna work, yeah, simple as that.
Yeah, don't just show up and mope around with your sourpuss.
Yeah, exactly. So this is Charles Lee, probably one of the first friends that I met in Ho Chi Minh City, was like really in the startup scene. He does this thing called Coder School. When I met him, he was a team of 3. He was one of the co-founders. But 3 years later, he's the last remaining co-founder. Really cool guy. What really connected me and him was our love for basketball. So yeah, he's a real cool cat, and hopefully you guys like the interview.
We are interviewing Charles Lee for this week. Charles, say what's up to everyone.
Hey everyone, this is Charles. It's an honor to be here, David and David.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for coming on, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so for starters, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey from the States to Asia, man.
Sure. I am a dude, and I am in Asia. I don't know if you can hear us over the phone, but I'm an Asian American. I was born, I mostly grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. So one of the first questions everyone has for me is, were you the only Asian person there? And my answer to that is, no, my mom and my dad were there too. But since then, I mean, I grew up in Salt Lake, it's pretty not Asian place. But then I moved to the Bay Area, which is a very Asian place.
When did you move there?
I moved there after high school, so I went to school.
After high school, okay.
Yeah, I went to school, went to college in near San Francisco. And since then, like, yeah, I lived in the Bay Area for, including college, I guess, like almost 15 years. And then 4 years ago, I decided to pack up and just kind of start traveling the world. And I didn't get very far into my trip before landing in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I've been here for almost 4 years now.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. So you traveled around a bit. Have you been to any other countries in Asia besides Vietnam?
Yeah, so the kind of Asian I am is a Korean American. So growing up, I would go to Korea all the time. Mm-hmm. So I've been there for visiting. But kind of one of the things that spurred me to go on this trip was I'd never lived outside of America. So, I feel fortunate to have traveled a lot through Europe, Asia, Africa, South America and stuff. But I never spent like an extended period of time. I always just been kind of a tourist. I think one thing that people always crave is like the local experience. I thought that living somewhere would be a good way to get that.
So what other places did you like besides Vietnam?
Yeah, I mean, like people usually want to know how I chose Vietnam. Sometimes American people think I might be Vietnamese. No Vietnamese person here thinks that. Look pretty different. I what I did was I Googled, I don't remember the website now, but I went at the time of my life. So I was 29. I was like recently single. I was kind of in between jobs. I had an opportunity to travel for a bit. So I just literally Googled best places in the world to be a digital nomad.
Oh, nice.
And it makes me cringe now to think of like that, to use those words. But I searched that, and actually the first hit was in Thailand. It was Chiang Mai, Thailand. And I still haven't made it. I want to check it out someday. But second, number 2 was Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon. We use the terms interchangeably. Well, I had a friend who lived here, a former colleague of mine, who moved back to Vietnam. And also was just like on the way to Thailand. So I decided to stop by here. But before that, I actually then somehow hooked up some friends who were doing like the standard backpack through Southeast Asia thing. So we hit up like Hong Kong, Cambodia, Bangkok actually as well, before coming here to Ho Chi Minh City.
That's cool, man. It's nice, dude.
For our listeners, Charles is a co-founder of Coder School, which is an awesome educational institution for people to learn coding. Is that right, buddy?
Yes, that's the best intro I've gotten. It's an awesome educational institution. Love it. So 4 years ago when I came out here, my real life plan was to so I'm an engineer by trade. So I thought, you know what, I have all these like ideas. I want to sit out here, like meditate on some mountaintop somewhere and write the next great app. I think it's like the 21st century equivalent of like going somewhere to write the next great American novel.
Yeah.
In 2019, it's like write the next great American app. So I had all these ideas. I thought I'd get some time away. But I guess people when I came here weren't like super into like leaving me alone. I guess they were like, "Hey, what do you do?" I'm like, "I don't do anything." And they were like, "No, you must do something." So I got a lot of questions about what I do. And actually at the time, I was doing a little part-time work teaching online. So a friend of mine opened a coding school that does video conferences online. That was kind of what I was working on. And before that, I had taught at a school in San Francisco doing some coding education. So I would just explain to people, okay, I'm a coding teacher. And then people were really excited by that, actually. And I didn't expect that. Kind of coming from America, for all the American listeners out there, I think even though I felt really well-traveled or somehow worldly, I realized for Vietnam specifically, I knew nothing about Vietnam. Like, all I knew was from the Vietnam War era type stuff, like movies, like Full Metal Jacket type stuff. So I came here expecting pointy hats, rice fields, and instead of people asking me like, "Hey, like, should I use Amazon or should I use Google for my cloud platform?" Like these kinds of questions, which I found really surprising. And one of the things that people were really into was coding education. So they were into the fact that I was from Silicon Valley and knew things. To where I was. So yeah, so Coder School started with kind of people showing a lot of interest in what happened to be one of my field's expertise. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of grew organically since then. It's been about 4 years. And in the past 4 years, we've had about 700 graduates, and it's growing steadily. But there are definitely a lot of bumps along the way, and there continue to be bumps along the way. So excited to get into that with you guys if you're interested.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Like, a lot of people want to move to another country, they're trying to start their own business, trying to establish themselves. Like, have you run into like any kind of big difficulties starting a business, like setting your life up in Vietnam?
I think the hardest thing about starting a new business, it's not really where you set up. I mean, there definitely are challenges that I would love to get into, but I think the hardest thing I've seen with myself and even other people here is like kind of committing to it. So I think when you move overseas, especially for me, I actually thought I was going to be here for 3 months. But I meet a lot of people who come here, and there's always this option of like failing and going back to the US. Like, I tried this out, and I'm going to try something. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll kind of go back. And I actually think that's the biggest challenge is like knowing that you have some sort of like safety nets, or like no one will know if you failed in Vietnam, or it'll be kind of a good story, or people fail and leave all the time. It's okay. To me, I think the biggest thing about starting a business is being committed to it. All right, I'm going to make it work no matter what. So yeah, there's this famous saying like in startup land about how people say startups die, but startups don't die. Like, people give up.
Yeah.
In a day.
Nice. So any difficulties living in Ho Chi Minh City, bro?
Yes. I mean, everywhere has challenges too. I mean, people always are like, "Hey, like, I can't believe you moved from San Francisco. Like, it's like the place where it's like the super cool place to be. Everyone's trying to get to there, and I moved away." Especially my parents are like, "What? We moved from Korea. No, you moved to give you life in the U.S., then you move back to not even Korea, to a country that many people see as less developed than Korea. I think the challenges living here are, like the language is probably the first thing. So specifically in Vietnam, I think English is prevalent, but you're always going to be a little bit an outsider if you can't understand what people are saying. And I feel like I'm okay at languages, but Vietnamese has been quite challenging. There's no layer two where I think this is very specific to Vietnam, but I tried to learn the language, but the dialect they speak in South Vietnam is quite different from North Vietnam, I would say. So
it sure is, bro.
Trying to speak Northern Vietnamese, I was taught in my weird American accent to a Southern Vietnamese person. There's just like too many layers of weird translation loss. I think that people just never know what to say.
Yeah, not to mention like just the normal language, all the tones and stuff, man. That's hard enough,
Yeah. And I think it's also, that's like one of the challenges being a foreigner is like, it's really, what is it called? Like, what's the word? It's very like discouraging to be like putting your best effort to learn this thing and like feeling like you're just not making any progress language wise. I feel like America was kind of nice for that, where you have lots of people who don't speak English perfectly in America. So people try, but here it's like it's hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, I've been out there and tried to speak like some Vietnamese. They're like, man, I don't know what you're trying to tell me, man. Like, they're not used to people with like a busted Vietnamese accent. It's like you're either born speaking it or you're not.
Yeah, exactly. And you could be it's like literally the first time they've ever heard like a foreigner try to speak Vietnamese to them, so I get it.
Yeah.
It's true though, man. That's really true.
Yeah, well, like I remember when I was out there, I kind of developed like my own sign language for the tones, so people would know what I was putting on it,
Yeah.
I actually literally do that. I wave, like if it's an uptone, I like move my hand up, and then like they like, and that's enough to help a bit.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Other challenge of living here, I would say, like, I think relationships are a little bit tough. Kind of what I was alluding to earlier with people giving up and moving back. Like, I think that definitely happens to people in general. You make friends and they go back home. Or like, they were only on assignment here for a year or two. So sometimes when I meet people, like, the first thing I think is like, I wonder how long you've been friends with this person. Should I really invest in this friendship? And so I think it's hard to build these like more lasting friendships, the kind they're used to back home, like with whoever you grew up with and things like that.
Yeah, it's very true, man. That happens a lot in Japan too. Like I'm teaching English in Japan out here, and I read some blogs from people who've been living here for a while, and like they say that there's always like some of the expats that are just gonna be there like for life, and they just teach English forever and never really move on to anything better. And then there's other people that come through for a couple of years and roll out,
Right. And it's they're different types of people, I guess, at the end of the day. Let's see, I don't want to keep complaining about stuff, but I got tons of stuff I can talk about. Challenges.
That's cool, man.
We have that we can do event day later. Hey, you're welcome to come back anytime anyway, man. So, okay, we could probably have one final question, yeah?
That sounds good, dude.
All right. So, Charles, any advice for people who are planning to make their way to Asia in terms of living or business? I think you kind of mentioned it already, though.
Yeah, advice for people. So I think the big thing you got to do is, like, my advice is set a plan and, like, give yourself time to execute that plan. I think if you move here thinking, I'm going to do this thing, it's going to be super easy, it's not easy. And that's not on Asia or the US. Like, life's just tough. But I think people get discouraged real early. Here, come in with a plan. It would be my advice.
Right on, man. Sounds good. That does it for another fresh episode of Dudes in Asia. It was great having Charles on the show. Seems like a dude with a lot of drive and determination. I think anyone who's going to be an entrepreneur needs those types of skills, especially if they're going to start a business in another country.
Yeah, Charles is a great example. Anyways, thanks for tuning in on our interview series. Charles, thank you for joining as well. Be sure to check out our blog at dudesinAsia.blogspot.com or hit us up on facebook.com/dudesinAsia. This is Doug Zillow signing in.
And if you want to follow me on Twitter, search for @DavidHater. That's @DavidHar. Peace out.
Peace out.